What's up YouTube, Mishlamasy here, and today we're going to be continuing part Nightmare of the Javazon Lightning guided playthrough. We've done the poison and kind of like poison with lightning, poison charge strike build. This is just the pure lightning. So it's just power strike into charge strike into lightning fury and rolling on through. We have finished normal. We're into Nightmare at level 38 right here. Pretty high level, honestly, for me. Generally, I level up a little bit less, but this character just murders so quickly, it's very easy to pick up levels. And you could be farming even higher levels super easily, doing Eldritch or more Baal runs, whatever, into your 40s before you went on if you wanted. For our stats, we are a little bit of dex and strength, just enough to have maiden javelins, really, and then to use Ancient's Pledge. Beyond that, we are vitality. Skills, I'll be respecking these. So we'll be going, this was what we had in normal, but we'll be going into Lightning Fury there. And then for our gear, imbued this, just looking for plus to Jab and Spear skills. Found that, which is nice. 10 all res, 18 energy for some added mana there. Resistances, faster run walk, chance for Frost Nova is nice. Nothing really on this ring. A random 16 potion belt, 27 fire res, 10 fast run walk. And then a couple random charms for cold and poison, life, and fire res. Now, if you want at this point, you could definitely go and do some cows. I think cows would be a very easy, fun place to just go murder everything. Not going to be worth the most experience at level 38, but it can be a nice place to find just additional runes, to find some gems, to find some charms, all of this stuff. So definitely consider that. Like I said, I'm going to respec because around level like 34, 35 is where I think you can start speccing into Lightning Fury. It's a little bit different now because Charge Strike, let me go to this one. Charge Strike used to have Lightning Fury as a synergy, but it no longer does. Thus, they don't quite work as well on the playthrough together as they used to. So we will go down there. I'll get 1 point dodge, avoid, evade. I'm going to get some points into pierce. I like to get about like 5 or 6 points usually in here. And then usually a couple plus skills kind of bring it the rest of the way to what I want. But 5 skills gives me a 55% chance to pierce, which I consider pretty decent. You can work your way into Valkyrie as well if you want. It'll make your lightning a little bit weaker, but still be very nice. And again, Charge Strike is a synergy for Lightning Fury, even though Lightning Fury is not a synergy for Charge Strike. So we can still go this way and just run Lightning Strike, Lightning Fury and Charge Strike, and we can have those in combination. I'll go ahead and get enough strength there to use my Kite Shield. I'll get a little bit of dexterity. I need a little bit more to use my Dread Barb. I'll actually go up to 47 because I do want to replace this with a piece. So we want 47 and 47 without any of those. And the rest can go into Vitality. If I wanted to put a little bit of energy, I also could. Having the 18 energy here is pretty nice though for that. And this will give us Lightning Fury and Charge Strike over here. And we are ready to take on Nightmare.
Good day.
So let's go in Nightmare. What's going to be our goals? Our main goal, we'll set to players 8 first. Our main goal is going to be getting to
I shall purge this land of the shadow.
The tower. I guess we'll do the den first. Pick up the extra skill point. And then getting to the tower and getting Shale, Thul, Am, as that will give us Peace rune word. We can put that into an armor. Go shop a breastplate early on. It's hard. And here you can again see the beautiful power of this character, and one of the main things with Lightning Fury especially that you want to focus on is grouping. The more that you can group mobs, the better it will be. I'll also go down to players 1 for Den, because again, there's not a lot of experience to be had here. So it's actually a pretty interesting skill in that regard, where if there's just like a single mob, you know, it's okay. I'm generally not like throwing too many lightning furies at a single mob. Charge strike tends to do just as well, if not better. But when there's a lot of mobs and you got walls and things like that, like this, you just, everything just dies. The amount of bolts that split off and come back and hit things. Alright. I'll always take an extra Ort rune.
I am overburdened.
Let's check for 3 sockets. Nope. Okay. Nice and easy.
Perhaps now the sisters will trust me.
61 attack rating. Again, we don't need attack rating on this character. We'll go back to players 8, and we will continue. That can be another point in the charge strike. I'd consider that sad, RL. And again, you don't have to always focus on like killing every single thing, every single boss, whatnot. A lot of times the main idea is just kill the mass overall, right? We have a group here, so we want to kill, you know, a majority of that group. And we'll go ahead and place our extra points into Lightning Fury. Ooh, nice. The Soul Rune's actually really good. So with the Soul Rune, we have this cap that we made, Ort Soul, and now we have another plus to skill. Additionally, more mana per kill, more energy, some light res. Really nice all around. And remember, +1 skill is not just +1 additional Lightning Fury skill, +1 additional charge point skill. It's also another point in dodge, avoid, evade, pierce, right? Like all of those things get the additional piece. So it really stacks up, which is why we want to be focusing on getting as many plus skills as we can. Because that will be a lot of extra damage. And you can totally see my damage is way lower than it was, but also like still good in its own right, which is why this is a little bit of a weird respec that, you know, they kind of changed in D2R. So the idea again was they decoupled Charge Strike from needing Lightning Fury as a synergy. But in doing so, now we have these points in Lightning Fury that are not adding there. And so originally we were doing like almost 1 to 1,000 damage per bolt for Charge Strike, but now we only do 1 to 386. But we also have this Lightning Fury damage, which is massive. And here you can also see we got hit by cold, which is a lot of times why we like to have something for cold. So You totally can still run more of a melee focused like style of it. You could run Lightning Strike plus instead of Lightning Fury, and then you could respec over there. So you could go Lightning Strike plus Charge Strike, have really big damage between those two. Still get kind of a bouncing around, but it's a little bit different. But I just love the throwing. So again, they didn't like nerf it really at its high end. The nerf was just there to remove Power Strike and like Lightning Fury dependencies a little bit. I believe their idea that they stated was they wanted you to be able to run more of like Charge Strike with something else a little bit more and not always getting Lightning Fury. So you could run Charge Strike and Lightning Strike, or Charge Strike with Plague, Javelin, and then you'd be running those and you wouldn't have to worry.
Llama, I'm
Something like
confused.
that.
I hear YouTube voice, but this doesn't appear to be a YouTube bot. What gives? Also, if you're watching this, don't forget to subscribe. You'll get various premium perks, like... Well, there's... I guess you get audio at least?
You always get the audio. Lightson's a great character for single player, yeah.
I can't carry anymore.
And we'll go ahead and go back to town and repair. So I've got 3 mana per kill, and then I also just have a lot of mana anyways, right? I've got a bunch of energy. I've got like plus 28 to energy or something. So that helps, but really the 3 mana per kill does a lot, especially when you just, you know, throw this into a pack of like 4, 5, 6 dudes.
What a strange looking tree.
Missed a 4-socket polearm in the passage. That's okay. Yeah, I could run like an Insight Mercenary. But like right here, like, look at this. This is gonna... All my mana comes back when I throw into that, because I get 3 mana per kill.
I can't carry anymore.
Okay, now let's find the tower. Would it be advantageous to run the mercenary with Arctic furs? Eh. Like, Arctic furs are fine, but nothing that's like godly game changing. Bowmerce with Harmony. You got the co-rune for me? Because I can't even find a co-rune here. I mean, in like Nightmare Tower
It's
from
locked.
Countess normal drops. Ooh, extra fast. We'll leave it.
Moo.
I prefer the 3 Amigas now with Insight, Rogue and Valk.
That would be actually not bad. Make an insight bow for a mercenary. Get a Valkyrie to tank everything. I can see that working well. Alright, there's our tower.
I am overburdened.
Druid, you run generally fire druid into wind druid. That tends to be the most common. However, you know, you can definitely like do other things. I've got guided playthroughs for a variety of druid builds. I think I just did a fury one recently, maybe. But that's your most common. Summons also work, though they're a little slower. How many elites in tower now? I believe in Nightmare Tower it's 2 to 3 per level. I did just run into a champion pack though, so that each one of the champions counts as one. It's a weird kind of glitchy thing. So if you run into champions first, it kind of screws up all of your spawning potential. They're all over there.
I am overburdened.
There's some champions, so that'll be probably our last spawn group then. Oof. So, what are we looking for in here? What a weird tower. Oh, never mind. It's a normal tower. I just missed the little turn off there. It's like, what the heck? We're looking for a few things. Number one, Shale and Eth. This will get us Rhyme Shield, which will get us Canopy Frozen, which can just be very nice. We could also try and make Hearth, which is Shale Io Thol if we wanted. And that would be a helmet that also gives Canopy Frozen and some cold res as something potential. Remember, go down to players one. Shale Rune, nice. We also want Shale Thol Am for Peace Runeword. And Ort Soul, if you haven't found that already, for lore. So all of those can be really nice. Remember, 3 Ort runes will also make a Thol rune. And 3 Rals will make an Ort. And 3 Tals will make a Ral. So right here, we have 3 Tals for Ral, 3 Rals for Ort, 3 Orts for Thol. And we have a Thol rune for these 7 runes. We could make a single Thol. We're going to keep farming anyways, but that is something in the event that we don't get anything else to help along the way, we at least could put there. Nothing really there. 20 cold res is nice, but I actually really like the energy. Go ahead and talk here. Did I repair? Yeah. And we'll go ahead and go to Players 8 again. And we'll head over for Akinishu so we can grab a leg and maybe do some cows a little bit later on. Yes, you can buy and resell your book at a vendor who does not sell tomes, and it will refill it completely if you do so. Where's that waypoint? Okay, another point in Lightning Fury. There it is. And Rakanishu is... right there. Got some randos.
It's as if a great war were fought here.
And we can save Mr. Deckard.
Deckard Cain, go to the rogues' camp without delay. I need mana.
Something like all that. Perfect.
Greetings.
Can I recommend a build for a boson to start from scratch? So I have boson guided playthroughs. If you look up Mr. Lamesi Let's Play Boson guided playthrough, you can look up physical, you can look up elemental, fire, whatever. Exploding arrow is very good early on and would be my recommendation for your early start. From there, you can look at shifting into continuing there. You can go into doing like freezing arrow plus exploding arrow. Or if you enjoyed the physical arrow more, you can have like multi-shot and stuff. You can run with the multi-shot strafe build. But for that, you're going to need a better weapon. So do like think about that and kind of be aware that you'll constantly be trying to find like that next weapon and upgrade and whatever. But Insight Bow can actually be pretty decent for that. Find some IAS elsewhere and then have the Insight Bow be solid. Yeah, Exploding Arrow is great until Act 4 Nightmare, and by that point you'll have enough points that you could have like maxed out Freezing Arrow as well or been close. And then your Freezing Arrow can kind of take over there, and then you can alternate back and forth between them. So, like I say, I really enjoy playing the dual element character of it, but I also really love the physical boson, even though she's kind of harder. Back to players 1. Io Thal. Wow. Io is a 4% chance to drop. Rarest rune she has from her drop table. So we don't really need it, but I can show you guys really fast. If we look up like Io runewords, we can do, I guess we don't need to look up Io. We can say Io and then helmets. And we get to say Io rune. Bulwark can actually be pretty nice for like a mercenary, but even for us with the damage reduction. But I still like the plus to skills. But this does bring in this like temper, ground, hearth, right, with the cannot be frozen. These kind of come into play with the Io rune as well. So that is nice. But we probably won't be using the Io because I have lore and I like the plus to skills a little bit better. But Bulwark for a mercenary would potentially be something we want. Lifesteal, replenish life, damage reduction can really help a mercenary kind of stay alive and be a little tankier. And again, if we did find another, like soul rune, we could make an insight bow. If we got a 4-socket bow. And then give that to an Act 1 mercenary, give her a bulwark as well. See what we can do with an armor. She could be decent. Is it worth checking the armor, weapon stands? Depends if you're looking, like, when I'm looking for Spirit Sword, yes, I check those pretty often usually with it. Because I find something. Additionally, if I'm looking for, like, a nice Paladin shield with resistance or something, can be decent. Make sure you're on players 8, that's right. Otherwise, you really will murder everything. I'm also almost 45. There's not a ton more experience to be had in Act 1 Nightmare. We can level like a little bit more, but for the most part, we've leveled pretty high down here. So it'll slow down a little bit at this point. There's one. Tal Eth Dol. Wow, we found Io Dol. That's crazy.
Good day.
Make a white wand and do what with it? It's crazy we found a white wand in 3 tower runs. Io Dol, Io Dol. Nightmare Andy cannot drop Ravenfrost. No. That's why, one of the reasons why she's so good at SOJ farm is because you can't get Raven there. So you just get Mantled, Nagel, or SOJ. Those are your options. Terrorize can, yeah, drop more. Can she drop Dwarf? I want to say no still, but maybe. I think it's just those 3. Yesterday, Duriel's might from TZ Andy. It's so crazy. She's so ridiculously good terrorized. Y'all should be happy I'm not working on this game. I would be nerfing all that stuff. TZ Andy, nerfed. Mosaic, nerfed. Spirit, nerfed. Hell or Tau. Dwarf is also 45. Yeah, I thought she wouldn't be able to.
Yes.
Says the guy who got Mosaic buffed. Okay. I got Mosaic buffed, but they were supposed to listen to the other parts of it as well. That would keep it from being too crazy. Enigma. Enigma's hard. I actually don't know what I would do with Enigma. The thing is, you can't just like straight up nerf Enigma. I really don't know. Like, because you have to consider PvP, you have to consider other characters. What happened before Enigma existed?
Thank you for everything you do, especially for those doctors without brothers.
Aw, thanks. I always try and keep them in my thoughts, you know. Like, think PvP or anything. Before Enigma existed, 85% of characters created were sorceresses. You know? It's like Enigma actually opened up the ability for more characters to teleport. And because of that, it's so important and so necessary. So I mean, the most played character is still the sorceress, followed probably by assassin. Assassin may be second most now. Assassin and paladin are pretty close together for second and third. Yeah, Mosaic. A lot of people play Mosaic Assassin. Global cooldown on teleport? Ugh. See, I like charges on teleport, personally. But does this start getting too far away from D2 and whatever? I like having... My favorite movement skill in the game is probably Flame Dash in Path of Exile, when you just kind of get it early there, and you get like 3 charges of it or whatever. Nice, another shell rune. Because it's just so nice. You can use it in times to go zoom, 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 and then you have to wait and let it go from cooldown. And it creates a little bit of this skill time, but it also doesn't just leave you screwed, because that's one of the problems. If you only had a single, like if there was a cooldown on teleport, every time that you jump over a ledge, now if there's mobs there, you don't get to teleport away from them. That feels like too brutal and punishing. You need to be able to like teleport away, in my opinion. Ooh, 48 to mana. Yeah, it's just better than that rare. But I do think the idea of giving it some charges is pretty based. And just having, you know, a few charges, and that's what you get to Soul F.
Burdened.
Good day.
But the thing is, even if you remove the strength bonus plus skills, all those things, like everybody still has to use Enigma that uses it currently. They're just a little bit weaker, which doesn't really solve the problem that Enigma is still just so necessary, you know? So I do like the idea of teleport as a skill itself, even for the sorceress, just being like 3 teleports charges that replenish once every 2 or 3 seconds or something. So you can go telly, telly, telly. So I'm copying PD2. You say I'm copying PD2, but like I literally have been saying this idea for years and years. This has always been my idea. Flame Dash. Like I mean, that's not like my idea. Flame Dash existed from Path of Exile. So I think PD2 did that. But yeah, I've always said make it like Flame Dash. That's what I think is the fairest way. Sorceresses still get it early. It's still really good for them. But without Telly as is, Grayling would be awful. I mean, it would slow down the game a little bit more. But again, if it's replenishing a charge, you know, every like couple seconds, whatever, it does make it a little bit less ridiculous. Now, it still would probably be a little too good, and this is where, you know, you do have things like increasing then the amount of teleport skills in the game and stuff. So there's other skills that characters can use, and you know, but that's probably well beyond anything they would do, right?
Good day.
Well, Telebug only works on 5% chance crushing blow, but we don't really need it. It does have all the poison res and stuff. I kind of like my Frost Nova still.
Good day.
Surprisingly. 20 to energy. Wow. A lot of energy. I'll take 48 to mana. But yeah, it's a hard problem to solve. Sorceress would still be good, though. That's the thing. If you change that and drop it, Enigma's still really good. Sorceress is still really good. Like, they just blink, you know, or they teleport 3 times and then have to wait, you know, or once every couple seconds, whatever, right? It recharges a teleport every 2-3 seconds. So you can't just go, you know, you go telly, 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 you know, like, it's not a bad pace. It just, it does slow it down though some, and people hate when you slow them down.
It's locked.
Always hard to nerf, which is why I think people would not like if I actually was doing anything with the game dev, because I'm nerfing Spirit, I'm nerfing Enigma, or Teleport in some way, I'm nerfing Mosaic. I'm buffing rares. Ral F tier. Okay, let's see. What do we need? We need an Amrune.
Good day.
Anyways, yep. So we're just on our search for Am right now. Or 3 Thol runes and the chip topaz we have. Game's objectively easier now. Yeah, exactly. I mean, games tend to progress into getting easier over time. Just as stuff, more and more things, you know, get added and players are so resistant to nerfs. I think you really have to be adamant about nerfing things as you continue to add things, you know. Which is something that you see in other games, right? Like, I think Dota is one of my favorite examples of a game that does a really great job of buffing, but also nerfing. Tons of times, characters just get absolutely destroyed. Because they were too good.
Good day.
Hustle would be nice. I would definitely have to consider hustle. I mean, peace is really good for us, but... Yeah, whenever I would make changes, I would also really try and consider PvPers, single-player players, people who want to grind, you know, on ladder and play with their friends. That's right, Starler. Something like that. You know, I think it's definitely important. Nice, 25 cold res. I'm gonna drop the 14 to life. That's starting to become such a small amount for so much inventory space. Devil slime. Thanks, Swifty. I agree.
I need a key.
Because I think a lot of times when people suggest balance changes, they only think in one of those ways. They only think, I'm someone who just sits there and plays solo and farms solo. I'm someone who just 99 grinds with big groups. You know, whatever. And you really need to consider that items can affect all across the various ways. But also like PvP pre-Enigma. Obviously sorceresses were just super annoying. But Boazons also, ugh. 12 to life. Like not having a way to jump on a Boazon. Amrune! Alright. We'll get our Amrune from not the Countess. Sure. I still speedrun from time to time? Yep. A lot of times you will just get the Amrune from not the Countess and just like random mobs in the tower or random chest in the tower. Happens all the time. There's one. Elrune. Alright, well I'm glad we got it there.
Good day.
Let's go ahead and put some things away. And we will head over to the outer cloister where we can then go back and swap out. Get a 3 open socket armor. Is Lights on a good season starter? Great season starter. Look at the DPS on this chick.
I need a key. So, this is the
I wonder
site
if
and
Lamo will
Duriel's
talk about the
atrocities.
OP-ness of this character.
It is pretty high. Okay, let's go back to normal. And just like we shopped a 3 open socket shield, normal act 2, we'll shop a 3 open socket breastplate. Now, I really want a breastplate because it doesn't have a movement penalty Whereas the other armors, chain mails and scale mails and stuff that are sold here do have movement penalties. So a breastplate is a light armor here.
How may I help you?
We can also go shop a 2-socket bone shield for rhyme. I like the bone shield for it because it has slightly higher requirements, or lower requirements. No, slightly higher blocking, and the requirements are pretty low. So
It is an honor to serve you.
3-socket breastplate, and we'll just wait on those.
Welcome.
And look for 2-socket bone shield. Perfect. Back to Nightmare.
Good day.
Okay. And Shale S. We get a rhyme, 25 all res, but most importantly, cannot be frozen. And then also some nice block chance, which I talked about before, plus 25 MF, which is nice. So although our resistances do drop a little bit, it actually does have an okay block chance, and if you want, you can jam some points into dexterity to make your character a higher blocking character. That is totally a viable way to play it. Just something to consider. And then peace is going to be Shale, Thol, Am. So let's get the 3 of those guys over here. Shale, Thol. Where did I put that Am in? There it is.
Good day.
Shale, Thol, Am. And this is chance to cast level 15 Valkyrie on striking, which is super epic. Chance for slow missile, which is fine. 2 to Amazon skill, some hit recovery. 2 to crit strike, cold res 30. Yeah. So plus 2 to all skills, and chance for Valkyrie is pretty sweet. Pretty sweet overall. Then we just have a ton of extra runes. I'm actually going to ditch some of these. LL, Tal. Sure, I'll keep you. And we have one more thing that we really want to do. Oh, 2 to bow and crossbow skills. So at this point as well, we can try and get
Greetings.
that. Dang. I guess we'll wait till Act 2. I was going to say, one thing that I really like to do here is get some fast runlock boots. But looks like Jeed's all full, and the gloves as well, so we'll wait for Elzix in Act 2. Tends to be a really good place to go farming. There's some 30 fast runwalks. Nice. So we could find up to 40s at our level, but we'll go ahead and continue forward
This
here.
is the site of Duriel's atrocities.
Looking good. Bring back old vamp gaze.
It's locked.
I will also go and get the hammer. And there we go, we get the Valkyrie as well, which is nice.
The sisters will be glad to have
Because
this
I do want to imbue my belt and or another pair of javelins. If I could find another sweet javelin later on. For light immunes, we will get lower resist, which, again, I will shop in Act 2 of Nightmare. So there's going to be a lot of Act 2 Nightmare stuff that we'll be doing here. We're also almost level 50 already, which is just crazy. I'll grab this waypoint, why not? I do believe I have the runes for Insight as well. If I wanted to get an Insight mercenary... I don't have a bow for Insight, though. So that'll be something we'll have to just kind of stumble upon, I guess.
I need a key.
We'll see what we get there. Insight's not that big of a deal. I can just use some mana potions. So. Or a polearm. Yeah, we could also find a nice polearm and use that. Get an Act 2 mercenary. Again, like, might's okay there, I suppose. Not that big of a deal. Because again, none of that is helping us. Holy Freeze would be alright. So, Insight. To get a 4-socket polearm, the best one generally that I like to grab is a bill. It's pretty decent damage, and you're going to be, hey, nice. Give that to the mercenary. You know, so you're going to have the bill, you'll have some nice damage on it. Not too bad on the requirements. And it's a guaranteed 4-socket when you socket quest it from Larzik, so it can be an easy way to for sure get it.
I can carry it.
11 cold res, maybe a little bit low on a grand charm. Put the points, yeah, if you're going summon skeleton, just like keep going summon skeleton and max that. And then skeleton mastery. And then you'll want a point in like amp damage, a point in clay golem, a point in Iron Maiden. You can go for a point later in Decrepify or something, but really you can just run those. And then if you want, you can go for the Fishy Mancer style, where you jam your corpse explosion up. And then your corpse explosion is really high, and you just kind of blow everything up. So you go in, you amp damage everything, your mercenary or your summons will kill one thing, and then after that you pretty much make sure everything's amped and corpse explode the world. Very nice. 10 life, 4 mana. Okay. We do need 60 strength, but it also has 16 light res. I'll go ahead and put in the additional 3 strength for that. That seems worth it to me. We're already like close enough to that. Also, I'll continue adding points to vitality. I realize I have not been very good about putting my vitality points in. Most fun for farming around. Javazon looks satisfying. This is one of the most satisfying farmers for like cows and honestly even just like playing through killing stuff in these Nightmare Terror zones and whatever stuff. Like when you're not in zones with a bunch of lightning immunes, or once you have your infinity and kind of your later stage stuff, this is a very satisfying class. Just like all the explosions are very satisfying of it. Hardest hardcore character to master. Sorceress is pretty difficult to master in hardcore. Very easy to just lose her. Long warbow with sockets on the waypoint. Alright. Okay. Lightning Fury is maxed, so now we'll start putting points into Charge Strike. And this is also where things start to really get good for the character here, because as you put points into Charge Strike and the mastery there, now everything is benefiting both Lightning Fury and Charge Strike, as opposed to before the points in Lightning Fury only benefited Lightning Fury. So, future points here are nice. Yeesh. Dang, really? T-Wolf? Good to know. Let's go players 1. Again, we probably could be players 3 or something for Andy if we wanted, but... And boom, just like that. All done.
This
Nice and
maiden
easy.
shall inflict no more anguish.
With Act 1.
Good day.
Simple as can be. 20 faster run walk with 32 fire res. I mean, these are basically just Hisaris boots. 15 IAS jewel. Save that for potential mercenary.
Good day.
Three socket warbow. So Elzix is one of my favorite people to farm for 1 boots, 2 gloves, 3 belts. You can just go in and out of the sewers.
Good day.
And he just has a pretty nice jobs. Yeah, just kind of checking for insight bases. Again, it's not like that important to me. Ooh, see, like 40 faster run walks are pretty tempting to run over the 20 faster. I mean, I do like the 32 fire res. I might keep those for hell or something, but you can also get some big life belts and stuff here, which can be nice. This belt is solid though. 10 life, 16 light res. It's not bad for now. Plus it's 16 potion slots. But we can also look for two Jav and Spear skills. And we don't have to find anything too crazy.
Good day.
Like 320s or anything like that. I am happy to just get
Greetings.
kind of whatever we can come across with it. One fire is.
Good day.
One to bow and crossbow.
Hi there.
What up, Tal? Next MVS.
Greetings.
When was the last one? 30 fast run rock, 12 light res. Oh, nice. I don't believe you. I think you can find two 20s at my current level. Two 10s or two 20s.
Welcome to the desert rain.
77 life. That's pretty good.
What you need?
Mike.
Hello.
Down to 0 subs. Definitely need another MVS. Yeah.
What you need?
Yeah, I don't know why I was feeling like that. But you can do this as many times as you would like, or as few times. Again, you don't have to farm these gloves. You can just go forward. You can also just get some gloves with nice resistances on them. You know, this is just kind of showing you options of things you can do and ways that you can put time towards finding things or not. We'll go ahead and grab some 20 IS gloves instead. I am happy enough with that. Infernal cap can go. Actually, the Infernal, yeah. Let's go ahead and do this. Oops. Cube up some juves. We can save these for later. Perfect. All right, and the last thing we'll do is we will shop for a lower resist wand. Again, if we were below level 36, we could just look at the unusable red ones. Since we are not, we'll have to look at all of them.
Approach and let's trade.
So we're looking for low resist charges, not +1 to low resist.
Ask and learn.
And this will be useful for any light immunes that we need to kill. This will be useful for ancients. This will be useful for all of the bosses, just to have even more damage there. Yeah. Oh yeah, we gotta go get the leg for later. Gotta at least do 1 cows. Life tap charges over there.
Ask and learn.
Not really our thing, but and then also, honestly, if you're just like in the chaos or something and you just want a little bit more damage, this can just you can just lay lower res down on a lot of mobs and just murder their faces. Because remember, this character already is pounding dudes left and right. So, confuse, stun.
Good day.
There we go, low resist, costs 200,000. The cheapest you'll find the low resist wand is about 60,000 or so. 63,000. Tier FF, sure, that's fine. All right, let's go. What do you mean phrasing? What did I say? And we'll just gather everybody up and blast them down. I guess I need to check over here. There's no exit. Perfect. What about TP stick? You just leave that in your cube and then you swap it on whenever you want to lower resist something. So you just shift right here. So, because the telly staff generally is going to be better. Now you can also just swap it to your telly staff if you're in somewhere like the Chaos and you don't think you're going to need your telly. Which items to keep or not in the ultra hardcore run? Oh man, I mean it really varies. I feel like there's been so many instances where I've wanted to keep something over something else, then change my mind. You always want to have an antidote potion or two to three antidote potions. Maybe like one thawing, but really you just want the thawing for Duriel. It's not that important beyond that. Some mana potions so you aren't running out. Depends the character. No, it doesn't matter, J-Field. Having a set of keys can be really nice for some locked chest. Really, it's just a lot of like small things like that you're kind of wanting to keep and hang on to. Jotunheim. What's going on, Goat? We were asking, I guess you weren't here. Do you identify as Hong Konger? A Hong Konger? Or as Chinese? Or something else? Maybe just American, but... Hong Konger. Okay.
Greetings.
King Kong. You identify as King Kong. Good to know. Telestaff is also very useful in the Maggot Lair, especially in Hell where you're going to have all the light immunes. You can take the time to like slowly burn them down and deal with them, or you can just telly past them. In Nightmare, she does alright though. Whoa, what a wild level 3.
Impossible. I can't.
How may I help you?
Okay, vitality points. And let's head over here. Ah, I wish rares were cool enough to pick up more often.
It's locked.
Just letting the giant maggot live. Hey, giant maggots have feelings too, okay? I don't got beef with the giant maggot there, alright? This is between me and Diablo and also all the dudes on the way that I kill.
I am overburdened.
Now, you may say, like, why aren't you picking up glaives to throw glaives and stuff? And it's because they're just kind of slow, right? Like, normal attack speed on it. I'm not getting the plus to skills either. It's just worth so much more to me to have this plus to Jav and Spear skills. And then very fast attack speed.
I hope I know what I'm doing.
True. Might aura. Get rid of that.
Let there be light.
Nice and easy. And now we've got Charge Strike and Lightning Fury both done, so we can start going into Lightning Strike, Lightning Bolt, or Power Strike for our next synergy. Again, I've got enough of a chance pretty much right here. I feel like one more level for... Oh, you guys can't see that. One more level and I'd have 69% chance to pierce, which would be nice. I can just try and wait to get some skills there. At this point, if I wanted to go into Valkyrie, I could also do that. And then I could just start spamming up my Valkyrie for the next 20 levels or so. But I'll go ahead and just start putting points into Lightning Strike. Let's just increase our damage right now. Are we winning? Yeah. And at this point, we're also kind of on the, like, move fast train. Not because we have to move fast, but we're level 53 in Act 2 of Nightmare. So, like, we are very high leveled. Oops, TP scrolls. And we're still on P8, just murdering things quickly. We're going to continue to level very quickly. So, yeah, I mean, we're in a really good spot, right? We've kind of like taken a little extra time, as people have requested, to farm a little bit more. And it has not even taken that much effort to do so. Oh, thank you. Go ahead and do this. Here we have a lightning immune. And I don't need to fight it. Again, I'll kill all the minions, and I'll be happy with that. Is there another potential insight base? Wait, where?
Am I the first to find this arcane
Go back.
fortress?
Again, like we talked about there, if you need to refill these, you can just sell them and buy them back at a vendor that doesn't have any tomes, and then you're good to go. Repair. Edgebow and Palace 2, Polearm and Harem 2. Can an Edgebow get 4 sockets? 3 sockets for Edgebow, right? Lumrune. Yeah, that's only 3 sockets, so. So Lumrune, really your main use of Lumrune is going to be smoke for 50 all res. Again, this is something that we could consider if we wanted to roll out of peace later on for really big resistances if we feel like we're doing enough damage and we need more survivability. Or for a mercenary if we wanted to get a mercenary that. You also do have Splendor, but very rarely used. And I'm not dropping my Cannot Be Frozen for Splendor. Doesn't really do anything for us here. Okay, doesn't look like we first weighed it. I forgot to trick it.
Good day.
Forgot to trick the game. Wish you could make that teleport.
Impossible.
Ooh, rare ring. Dude, why are these rare rings so bad? Actually, like 48 to mana more. Alright, just like we said before, we want to go to Circle Over Moon. That's the far right side. Goes circle, then moon, then square, then sun is in the middle. Double down arrow is next. Then triangle's right above us. And Circle Over Moon is over to here. Nice and simple. Found Zod, but nothing to make. You can either save it for something like an Eth Rib Cracker or a Eth Death Cleaver or something. You can make an Obsession, potentially, like a sweet Obsession source. Could be cool. You can make Breath of the Dying. That's always a really fun one. Find a Zerker or Eth Colossus Blade if you're a Barbarian. Or even like an Eth, one of my favorites is an Eth Warpike. So this is where I'll swap this. Give it to my mercenary. Alright, we'll go down to players 1. We're gonna go in, lower resist. And then we'll stabby stab. Mr. Duriel. Made a good amount of Enigmas in my life. Hey, remember when we got Hisaris boots? Well, now we got the slightly worse version. It's funny.
This is not good.
And just like that, Act 2 is done. Well done, everybody. I also like to grab a couple stamina potions before we head to Act 3.
Good day.
And we'll go here. We'll put the Lum Rune away. Don't really need these guys. Go to players 8. Continue our journey. Almost level 55. Wow. It's like the highest level playthrough. A lot of times I'm level 55 in Act 3 hell. Not even. I feel like longbow, maybe. Immune to lightning. And we'll go ahead and swap back our staff to our our staff and wand. There's an Amrune. Ooh, mesh belt. Nice. I love Tal's belt. It's really just got like so many nice things. Only 11% magic fine, but 37 damage taken to mana, 30 to mana, and 20 to dexterity. I'll lose a little bit of res for it. Nothing still there that I care about. Yeah, nothing else really.
I need a key.
Very solid, though. Flare. Oh, great marsh. Three sockets again. Frost Nova charges amulet. Yeah, very interesting, huh? Like, potentially has its uses. Cut left, cut left, cut left. Nope. Go straight. Keep going straight. Alright. Doubtful of a skip, but maybe this will connect up and through somehow. It will not. Maybe it connects over, though, at least. It will not. Unfortunate. You know, let's actually give this a try.
Impossible.
What about sideways? Nice. Save ourselves a little time of going all around there. And 23 to life. Works for me. It's like okay, you know, something we could dump later on if we want, but again, for now. I'm always trying to balance the inventory space I use with the charms, so that's always a consideration. Lair jungle with an experience shrine. Love it. Ah, dang. Unfortunately, we have champions right at the front, which, like I talked about before, will kind of ruin all of our other champion groups in here. So we're not really going to get many champions out here, if any more. But it's okay, because even still, just having a bunch of these little flares is worth a lot. Cedar bow. Aw, man. Wrong character. I want that on my paladin. Holy Fire Paladin with the Kuko Shikaku. That would have been fantastic. Unfortunate. Titans would be sweet. I'd probably be like, yeah, you know, pretty ecstatic. Sure. And too many towels and like rows. I don't need all that. I also can sell those other things in the bottom left whenever I want. Let's go back and try not to waste all of our experience shine here.
I need a key.
One to Javin Spear skills. I feel like the attack speed is worth more to me right now than +1. If those were +2s, I'd probably put them on. Or if they had like really good res and stuff, but only +1. A little bit weak.
This dagger will separate the faithful from the fallen.
Another point here, more points to vitality. It's a pretty simple and sweet character. I put my points in vitality. I put my points into my lightning skills, and I'm happy. Ooh. Ouch. Try and avoid too many dolls exploding on you. To life. I mean, a lot of just like mild life charms, you know? It's like, yeah, it's nice. It's not like a lot of life, but it's okay. No, I got rid of my 12 life GC, so I should just have 23 life and then 2 resistances. I don't know exactly what peak combats are worth now, but I mean, I feel like they were always worth like an Ist rune or so, something around there. I mean, it depends, early ladder versus later ladder, etc. Skiller. Yeah, we found Tal's belt, which was cool, so we get a little magic time from that. Only 11% though, sadly. Rolls 10 to 15, so what you gonna do?
I can't.
Six Zotted Phase Blade. That does sound good.
I am overburdened. I need a key.
We'll turn those in a little bit. Let's go into the sewers. And again, the more mobs that you can kind of like gather up, the more explosive the damage is. So it really just like stacks so much. And makes her really fun in certain areas, such as the cows, where you have tons of mobs stacked on top of each other.
I am overburdened.
Okay, sewer's done. Another point to lightning strike. Do you take a patient and respec after to level up? Oh, poison. I did not in this one. I just ran power strike, which was plenty great. You can. I'm thinking in the future I will do some like kind of like ideal leveling builds, because a lot of times in my guided playthroughs I'm, for the sake of creating, you know, a character that somebody may want to fulfill the fantasy, I stick with that. So, okay, I'm playing a lightning Javazon, so I'm going to only be using lightning. So I'm going to start with Power Strike. I'm playing a Cold Sorceress, so I'm going to start with Frost Nova, right? And I'm going to play that in 2 Blizzard, whatever it is. So I'm, you know, I'm trying to kind of... it's just not that good. I'm trying to fulfill those fantasies for people a little bit more. But I was thinking it'd be nice to just do like... you know, sorceress playthrough, and I'll just play through the sorceress with a most optimal almost style. I say almost because it would be slightly less optimal than like a speed run, for instance, with like a Hell Paladin speed run, you're running around in Act 2 with Holy Bolt but not killing anything. So it's probably better to just still recommend like Holy Fire into hammers or something, you know? So still have something like that kind of going, but or like the Necromancer, you know, Thorn's Golem Necro is the ideal, most optimal, fastest leveling strategy. But I'll probably just be like, hey, we're gonna play Bone or we're gonna play Summon, like, because that's a little bit brutal to maybe try and showcase and get people to play. Because it's not an easy build. So. Oh, jeez. What's my favorite build? That's such a tough one. We're also endurance level 2. Reminder to snag this waypoint. Nightmare Mephisto is probably the best farm place in the game before Hell and Duriel. And then obviously like Hell Mephisto, but like Nightmare Mephisto is probably the first really good farm zone in the game, I feel like. Prior to that, it's like Nightmare and Duriel is okay if you're wanting to get your resistance. Oh god. Jesus. If you're wanting to get stuff that's... Stop it! Good lord. Like, okay, like your SOJ or whatever, but... Okay, we'll go down to players 1 for Mephisto. Again, we could probably be just be players 3. Oops. And we'll go ahead and go here. Lower res Mephisto. And like I say, you can just kind of stack some magic find on him and kill him a few times. And maybe you'll find something sweet that would even get you to like change your build. Like what if you found, I don't know, Bariza or something wild? Like, you know, what would you do? Would you shift over to being a physical boson? Maybe. Because that'd be really fun to play.
What do you need?
But this is the Lightning Javazon guided playthrough, not the Bariza boson. Womp womp.
Hail to you, champion.
But these are the sorts of things that you can do and you can play around with and have fun. And again, like, you can farm just plenty there if you want. Mephisto has a lot of good drops. So one special tip is remember that Magic Find is applied on kill. So if you want, you can get Mephisto down to like no life whatsoever. Then you can just swap over your gear really fast and put on, you know, whatever, right? Put on 3-4 topaz armor, a 3 perfect topaz shield, magic find gloves, boots that you've shopped, whatever. You can just put all those on, and then you can get the kill. Because right now I only have like 36% MF probably. I think there's any on these things. Yeah. Got 25 here and 11 here, so you know, there's a lot more that could be had. I'm going to go down to players 1, even though I could kill Ijwal on a higher players count. There's souls and stuff out here. I don't feel like being too ridiculous. Okay, there's Ijwal. If we want, we can do this, and we can lower resist Ijwal. And we can either bring him into a group of stuff, or we can just stab him straight up. Either way, not too bad. Yeah, I don't know if I have a favorite build exactly, because I just love so many builds in so many different ways. Kind of like changes up whatever I'm feeling at different times. I really do love the Thorns Golem Necromancer. I think it's such a fun build. That's kind of ridiculous. So that definitely is in my list. Probably not Mosaic Assassin. Yeah, I can tell you some builds that it's not. Better than ones that are. Maybe we'll do Llama's favorite and least favorite builds tier list someday. It'll be a little different take. Because it's not actually about the power exactly of the build so much as just how fun is it. Now, there's not really a rune that I'm looking for from the Nightmare Forge here. Pole Rune would be maybe, because Pole Rune could get me Wisdom. And I believe Wisdom has Pierce on it, as well as cannot be frozen. And then a few other things. But those two things would be nice. Umrune, I don't think Duress is really that useful for us. Again, I'm much more interested in like plus to skills and having this Valve than I am on Crushing Blow and Open Wounds. So that's not really super necessary for us. Yeah, I think we're on players 1 right now. It's not a big deal. Again, we're level 60 already. Like, we could not level again. We could teleport all the way through hell if we wanted at this point. I'll probably go players 8 again up in when we start the chaos here. Or I can just go right now. It doesn't matter. 33% pierce on wisdom. Perfect. So that would give me basically 100% chance to pierce. Be like just shy. Which would be pretty sweet. Mm-hmm. Classic T-Wolf. Oh no, wrong one. I really doubt they'd bring a whole map system and stuff into D2R. I don't know. I mean, hey, maybe I'm wrong, but I really feel like if there's something, it's going to be small. We're adding more stash to Hebs. More character slots available now. Y'all are much more optimistic than I am about this. You can cast lower resist on these guys. And then blow them up. My like best case scenario that I'm thinking is a loot filter or something. Customized player accounts online kind of goes against what they've said. Like previously they said they didn't love that because they really want to try and force people to like play together. I still disagree. I'm like, just let us do it. People can still play together or not, you know. But we'll go ahead and go down to players 1 over here, just in case there's some lightning immunity. All right, pop it like it's hot. Players 1, lower resist. Also remember, if you get really close to Diablo, his lightning goes over your head. Not that it's that big of a deal for this character. She's just going to kind of murder him before it matters too much. But it is something to note at least. Trying to decide. You know what? Let's just sell these things that we saved up there, and this as well. Get a little bit of cash.
Greetings.
And just like that, claps for you. You are in Act 5 of Nightmare. And you're flying. Look at all that experience you got. You're level 62. That's wild. That is wild.
The siege must be stopped.
Dudes. We can go to P8 again here if we want. I don't like the idea of instant loot, and I know a lot of you guys do like instant loot. I think you could potentially do instant loot. I mean, I just think Diablo 2, you just leave it as is. But I think you could potentially do instance loot in a game if you showed the cool drops to everybody. And then obviously all instance loot is like droppable for anybody and all that stuff. Only +1 to Jav and Spear skills. Not worth for the supers. Because a lot of it is the excitement of seeing, you know, like, yo, a jaw rune drop for you, whatever. Then you can allow people to share loot or not. Like, I think there's a way you can do it to kind of satisfy both, some sides a little bit, but also Fortitude of Mana is nice. Yeah, I'd also have to like really lessen the drops across, because remember the way that drops currently exist, like there's no difference between when Eldritch dies, he always drops 2 items. If I have 8 people there, does that mean he's always supposed to drop 16 items? That's kind of ridiculous, you know, so it doesn't like really fit with Diablo 2. I believe PoE has it kind of like the other way, but 8 times drops from a boss. Yeah, like there's just so many issues. Even if it's 8 times player 1, that's still way too many, you know? So it's a great way to just fluff loot out way too much. 8 super chests, crash a server. Have a super chest drop 8 times. We'll leave the light immunes alone. SSF ladder would be fun. Bum, 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 bum. We'll drop a TP here so we can go save Anya. 10 all res is just really hard to pass up. See if we can get a waypoint out here. I am running low on jabs though. Yeah, I do wish they would buff rare items. Nerf some rune words, buff some rares. I would have a field day doing all sorts of crazy things.
Impossible.
curse. A little bit nasty over there. They're lightning immune as well, so let's just get away from them. So one thing that you can do, let's say you run into there and that's just really difficult to get through and everything like that, and there's the lightning immunes. One, you can just lower resist them and slowly deal with them one by one. It will break them, so that works. Two, you can always just go get the waypoint in the Crystalline Passage or Glacial Trail, and then just try again, because there won't always be souls down there. Areas spawn X amount of, they spawn 3 mob types out of X mobs. So in many instances,
At your service.
you wouldn't actually be spawning like the souls, right? Like half the time you'll spawn the souls or something. So just a nice tip. Make large charms useful. Be fun.
It's locked.
Would be nice. Oh, jeez. Whew. Curse too. I'll happily grab some full rejuves. And again, probably don't need to actually go back with just how high level we are and everything, but we'll go ahead and do it anyways. You know, yeah, it's fine. Make sure none of them are lightning enchanted. Oh wait, I'm on players 8. If you ever do happen to do that, you can just reset. I'm also going to get rid of this curse.
Hello.
And we have a lightning enchant, so we'll reset. Extra strong, curse, lightning enchant, we'll reset. Curse, curse, magic resistant. I don't love everybody being cursed, but just keep our finger on the rejuve button. Chunk him down. And sometimes if you're not dealing a lot of damage, just repositioning yourself with Charge Strike can really change up how much damage you're doing. So just something to take note of and consider. Just get all those charge bolts hitting for more damage, and it can night and day difference. Go ahead and go up to players 8. We will also be grabbing the waypoint here, just in case we spawn like a bunch of souls that are too annoying to deal with.
I can't carry anymore.
No 4 sockets. Hopefully we don't get souls down here as well, but we'll see. Ouch. Super poison. Yeah, we got some souls. Unfortunate. And I'm gonna go back again for the waypoint. We'll just leave a TP. Should just be straight across over here, most likely. Why do I look so nervous? I'm nervous for souls. I don't know. Do I look nervous? Hello. Feels really nice to be able to use wells and to use healing potions after the ultra hardcore runs. Really, really nice. Teslanins don't care about a lot. They murder most things. Alright, we'll go down to players 1 for the throne, just in case there's souls. I don't want players 8 souls. We got dolls, so we need to be careful there. No souls. Kill the dolls, just kill them far away. Now we can swap over here. Repair.
No.
Jowow! Thank you very much for the sub. Welcome to Llamas of the Round. Okay, got immune to lightning. So if you run into an immune, as such, you can just drag them out of the throne. And then bring them somewhere the sun don't shine. By the sun, I mean Baal's vision doesn't shine. And you're good to go. And this is also always a decent place to level up if you feel like you want some levels. So you can always do more Baal runs. Though at level 66 in Nightmare, I mean, you can go up into the like low to mid 70s here. Some people do. Low resisted. We shall make short work of him. And just like that.
My work here is truly done.
Well done. You have completed a Nightmare with your Lightning Javazon. Let's do a little bit of a review. We are level 66. Crazy. Literally the highest level I think I've been on any guided playthrough character through Nightmare. Just so nice there. We have maxed out Charge Strike and Lightning Fury. Almost maxed out Lightning Strike. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 and all those. And then like 5 in here. Nothing in bows. Just enough strength and dex really to use our kite shield, and which we aren't using the kite shield anymore, but you know, enough to wear a plated belt or whatever it is, and then to use some maiden javelins. The rest in vitality. As for gear, still just the jabs we imbued back in normal. I'd love to find another set of maiden jabs or a nice ceremonial or something, though those are a little bit higher requirements. With more plus to skills. Get some IAS on it as well with an imbue. That'd be nice. Lore Helm for the 1 to all skills there. Still just 18 energy on this amulet. Haven't really found that good of an ammy. I could look at maybe crafting some amulets here coming up. I do have, look here. I've got, you know, I could make a caster ammy. I'm kind of closing in on making a, prismatic amulet for additional resistances, whatever, right? So we do have some ideas there. Rhyme Shield, 25 all res, can't be frozen. Some magic find and whatnot. Peace, 2 to Amazon skills, chance for Valkyrie on strike. We shop some 20 IAS gloves. Again, if with a little more patience, we could shop some 220s or something if we wanted, especially at 66 here. 48 to mana. 20 dexterity with, you know, whatever, right? Just Tal's belt, not bad. 27 fire res. Again, still haven't really found, like, jewelry for this character, really. And 40 fast run walk here on our booties. We also do have some fire boots. There we go, another spear. Always. We could always, of course, shop Anya if we want.
Yes?
Do the classic back and forth shop on her to try and find some gloves with attack speed and also some Jav and Spear skills. So yeah, that is the character on swap. We've got our teleport staff, we've got our low resist charges. It's pretty solid. She does pretty well. Here's these boots we can put on Hell if we feel like getting a little more fire res. So that's part Nightmare. I will see you guys in part Hell. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, like the video, all those things, YouTube. If you haven't already, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.